Commissioner Gordon, Bane has escaped.
Master the art of self-control, for it is the foundation upon which all power is built. To control yourself is to control the battlefield, to become the architect of your own fate rather than a pawn in someone else's game. The undisciplined are slaves to their impulses, puppets whose strings are pulled by fleeting desires and emotions. The strong are different. They master their urges, wielding restraint like a blade, cutting through chaos, ensuring every action is deliberate, every word calculated. Self-control is not a weakness. It is the ultimate form of strength. Emotions are the great saboteurs of men. They surge, they burn, they cloud the mind and poison judgment. The weak let their emotions rule them, flaring up in anger, drowning in sorrow, losing themselves in joy. But the strong are immovable. They feel, but they do not falter. Their emotions are tamed, chained beasts that serve their purpose without consuming them. To master self-control is to become the stillness in the storm, the unyielding force that chaos cannot touch. It is not about being emotionless, it is about mastering the fire, letting it burn only when it serves your cause. Desire is the enemy of focus. The weak chase after every fleeting temptation, scattering their energy, their time, their potential. But the strong are singular in their focus. They do not let their minds be divided by wants that serve no purpose. Self-control is the ability to say no, to deny the easy, the convenient, the unnecessary in favor of the essential. It is not a sacrifice, it is an investment, a deliberate choice to prioritize the future over the fleeting pleasures of the moment. Self-control is not innate, it is forged. It is the product of discipline, of deliberate effort, of countless small victories over the self. The weak surrender to their impulses, believing they have no choice. But the strong know better. They know that control is built brick by brick through daily decisions to act with intention rather than reaction. Every moment of restraint, every choice to hold back, strengthens the fortress of self-control. It is not a gift, it is a skill, one that must be earned through battle with the self. The mind is a battlefield, and self-control is your greatest weapon. It is the force that keeps you steady when the world around you trembles, the anchor that holds you firm in the face of temptation, fear, and distraction. The weak let the chaos of the world invade their minds, tearing them apart from within. But the strong build walls, fortifying their minds against the chaos, maintaining control even when the world is screaming for them to lose it. Self-control is not about denying the chaos. It is about commanding it. To master self-control is to master time itself. The weak waste their days in distraction, letting the minutes slip through their fingers like sand. But the strong are deliberate, controlling their time with the same precision they control their thoughts and actions. They don't waste a single moment on pursuits that don't serve their purpose. Self-control is not about doing less, it is about doing what matters. It is about ensuring that every moment is a step toward victory, not a detour into mediocrity. Control over the self is control over others. The weak are slaves to their impulses, and because they cannot control themselves, they are easily controlled by others. But the strong are untouchable. Their self-control is their shield, their armor, their weapon. They are not swayed by flattery, by anger, by manipulation. They are impenetrable, unyielding, immune to the forces that bend the weak to their will. Self-control is not just about mastering yourself, it is about becoming unmasterable by anyone else. Restraint is not weakness, it is the ultimate form of strength. The weak mistake self-control for limitation, for suppression, but the strong know better. They know that to control yourself is to unlock your potential, to ensure that every action serves your greater purpose. Self-control is not about holding back. It is about channeling your energy, your focus, your power into what truly matters. It is the force that turns potential into reality, that transforms chaos into order, that ensures victory in every battle you face. The world is full of distractions, of temptations, of forces designed to pull you away from your path. The weak fall prey to these forces, their self-control shattered by the noise of the world. But the strong are different. They silence the noise, cutting through the distractions with ruthless precision. Self-control is their sword, their shield, their unbreakable resolve. It is not about avoiding temptation, it is about facing it and choosing to stay the course. To master self-control is to master the art of focus, of clarity, of purpose. Self-discipline is the art of saying no, and in that rejection lies your first taste of power. To deny the people, places, and things that seduce you with comfort is to refuse the easy path, to embrace the harder climb. The weak indulge, running from the sting of their unfulfilled potential, hiding from the pain of what they haven't achieved. But the strong understand that this pain is a compass pointing toward the work that must be done. Distractions are not harmless. They are weapons wielded against your purpose. Discipline is the shield that blocks their strike. To say no is to take control. It is a rebellion against the forces that seek to scatter your focus, to dilute your strength. The weak are slaves to these forces, their days filled with meaningless pleasures, their energy drained by empty conversations, pointless tasks, and mindless indulgence. But the strong are different. They say no with conviction, with clarity, with an understanding that every distraction is a chain pulling them away from what truly matters. Self-discipline is not about deprivation. It is about freedom, the freedom to choose what serves your purpose. Every time you say no, you strengthen your resolve. The weak crumble under the weight of their desires, their willpower eroded by the constant pull of temptation. But the strong embrace the struggle, knowing that each rejection of the unnecessary is a step closer to mastery. Discipline is not about avoiding the battle. It is about winning it moment by moment, decision by decision. Each time you say no, you are not just resisting, you are reclaiming your mind, your time, your life. Pain is the price of progress, and distractions are the anesthetic that numbs you to that pain. The weak take the easy path, sedating themselves with comforts that dull their awareness of what they lack. But the strong face the pain, letting it fuel their determination. To deny the distraction is to confront the discomfort, to embrace the fire that burns away weakness and reveals strength. Discipline is the act of choosing the pain of growth over the comfort of stagnation. It is not easy, but it is necessary. The people who pull you away from your goals are not allies, they are obstacles. They whisper of rest, of indulgence, of abandoning the path for just a moment. The weak listen, their resolve faltering in the face of friendly smiles and comforting lies. But the strong are ruthless. They cut these ties, understanding that not everyone is meant to walk their path. To say no to people who distract you is not cruelty. It is clarity. Discipline is the act of prioritizing your purpose over the approval of others. Places and habits that once offered comfort become prisons when they keep you from your goals. The weak return to these places, these routines, out of familiarity, out of fear of the unknown. But the strong break free, choosing discomfort, choosing uncertainty, choosing the path that leads to growth. Discipline is the refusal to be trapped by your past, the rejection of anything that does not align with your purpose. Every step away from distraction is a step toward freedom. The first step toward self-control is not grand. It is small, simple, and often painful. It is the moment you say no to the thing that tempts you most, the moment you reject the comfort that calls your name. The weak believe self-control is beyond their reach, that it is something others are born with. But the strong know better. They know that self-control is built brick by brick, beginning with the discipline to say no. Each rejection is a foundation stone, each moment of restraint a building block for the fortress of self-mastery. Discipline is not a single act. It is a way of life. It is the lens through which the strong view every decision, every interaction, every opportunity. The weak stumble through life, reacting to whatever pulls at their attention. But the strong move with purpose, guided by the discipline that keeps them focused on their goals. Self-control is not achieved in an instant. It is the culmination of countless discipline choices, the result of relentless commitment to the path you have chosen. To master self-control, you must first master self-discipline. It is the foundation upon which all control is built, the first step in a journey that leads to ultimate power over the self. The weak avoid discipline, seeing it as restrictive, as burdensome. But the strong embrace it, knowing that discipline is the key to freedom, the weapon that cuts through distraction and doubt. To say no is not to lose. It is to win, to claim the life that is rightfully yours. If you're lost, it is not the world that needs changing. It is you. The weak flail in confusion, blaming the darkness for their inability to find the path. But the strong embrace the chaos, knowing that every stumble is an opportunity, every misstep a chance to grow. Learning is not a gentle process. It is violent, uncomfortable, and relentless. To learn is to destroy your ignorance, to shatter the fragile illusions that keep you stuck. Feeling lost is not the end. It is the beginning, a challenge to rise and take control. Direction is not given. It is carved out through action. The weak wait for guidance, for a mentor to light the way, for clarity to descend like a gift. But the strong understand that clarity comes only after movement. That direction reveals itself only to those who act. Mistakes are not failures. They are lessons. Embarrassment is not defeat. It is a sign that you dared to try. The weak fear these things, but the strong relish them, knowing that a life without mistakes is a life without progress. The mess you create today is the foundation of mastery tomorrow. Chaos is not the enemy, it is the crucible. The weak run from the chaos, seeking comfort in order, in stillness, in predictability. But the strong step into it, creating a mess so monumental that they have no choice but to confront it, to organize it, to learn from it. The chaos is not the problem. It is the solution. Discipline is what transforms that chaos into clarity, what turns the mess into meaning. To be lost is not to fail. It is to be presented with the opportunity to rebuild, stronger and sharper than before. Experience is the only teacher worth listening to. The weak crave guidance, mistaking external advice for the key to their success. But the strong know that no mentor can teach what only experience can. Feeling lost is not solved by asking for directions. It is solved by walking, by moving, by falling and rising again. Self-discipline is the engine that keeps you moving, that pushes you to act even when the path is unclear. To learn from experience is to embrace the mess, to use it as fuel, to let it shape you into something unstoppable. Mistakes are the currency of progress, and the strong are willing to pay the price. The weak hoard their perfection, afraid to tarnish their image, to risk failure, to face the judgment of others. But the strong understand that perfection is an illusion, a mask that hides weakness. They do not fear mistakes, they welcome them, knowing that every error is a chance to grow. Discipline is what allows them to face these mistakes without flinching, to confront their flaws without crumbling. To master yourself is to master your mistakes. Embarrassment is a tool, not a curse. The weak shrink from it, letting it paralyze them, letting it dictate their actions. But the strong use it, letting the sting of embarrassment drive them to improve, to grow, to become better than they were. To be embarrassed is to be human, to be vulnerable, to be alive. Discipline is what keeps you moving in the face of it, what turns embarrassment into energy, what ensures that the lesson is not wasted. The strong are not afraid to look foolish, they are afraid to remain stagnant. To feel lost is to be presented with a choice, to surrender to the chaos or to rise above it. The weak choose surrender, letting the feeling of being lost define them, letting it chain them to inaction. But the strong choose discipline, using it to navigate the darkness, to find their footing, to take one step forward and then another. Feeling lost is not a state. It is a process, a cycle that repeats itself with every new challenge. Discipline is the thread that weaves through that cycle, turning it into a story of triumph. Direction is not a destination. It is a process. The weak wait for a map, for a sign, for someone to lead the way. But the strong create their own direction, using their mistakes, their messes, their moments of clarity to guide them. Discipline is what keeps them moving, what keeps them acting, what ensures that they do not stay lost for long. The strong understand that being lost is not the problem. It is the solution, the challenge, the fire that forges character. The process of feeling lost, learning, acting, and starting over is not linear. It is cyclical. The weak fight this cycle, trying to escape it, trying to find a way out. But the strong embrace it, letting it shape them, letting it teach them, letting it refine them. Self-discipline is what allows them to move through this cycle without fear, without hesitation, without regret. To feel lost is not to fail. It is to be given the chance to grow. Discipline is the force that turns that chance into reality. Growth demands that you walk willingly into the fire, burdening yourself with challenges your current self is unfit to bear. The weak flinch from this weight, retreating to comfort, convinced that ease is the path forward. But the strong know better. Growth is not a gift. It is a sacrifice. It is the act of deliberately breaking yourself, of stretching your limits until they snap, only to rebuild them stronger than before. To grow is to suffer, and to suffer is to become. Comfort breeds weakness. Discomfort breeds power. Leaning into discomfort is not for the faint-hearted. The weak avoid pain, shielding themselves from the very forces that could transform them. But the strong embrace it, welcoming the chaos and disorder that comes from stepping beyond their limits. Discomfort is the forge, the crucible where potential is burned away and turned into something tangible, something real. Growth demands that you become comfortable with discomfort, that you treat pain not as the enemy but as the architect of your future self. The weak shy away from the flame. The strong step into it. Habits are the scaffolding of growth. The weak rely on fleeting motivation, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, the perfect feeling. But the strong rely on discipline, on the habits that sustain them when the chaos of growth threatens to overwhelm. Habits are not formed in the light. They are forged in the darkness, through repetition, through persistence, through the refusal to quit. Growth is not a moment, it is a process, a daily war fought in the small, silent choices that define who you are becoming. The strong understand that growth is not linear. It is chaotic, unpredictable, and brutal. Each step forward is met with resistance, each victory accompanied by new challenges. The weak are discouraged by this, believing progress should be easy, should be smooth. But the strong thrive in the chaos, using it as fuel, as proof that they are on the right path. Growth is not a reward. It is a battle, one that must be fought every day, every moment. To grow is to conquer, and conquest is never gentle. To take on more than you can handle is to invite failure, and failure is the bedrock of growth. The weak fear failure, avoiding risk at all costs, remaining trapped in the safety of their current selves. But the strong understand that failure is not the end. It is the beginning. It is the sign that you are stretching, growing, evolving. Each failure is a lesson, a stepping stone, a challenge that forces you to adapt. Growth is not about avoiding failure, it is about using it, about letting it teach you what your current self is not yet capable of. Sustainability is the end game of growth. The weak reach for short-term gains, burning themselves out in the process, unable to maintain their momentum. But the strong build for the long term, forming habits that make their new level of strength not just achievable but sustainable. Growth is not about bursts of effort. It is about consistency, about showing up day after day, even when the fire of motivation is burned out. Habits are the foundation of this consistency, the structure that allows growth to endure. Growth is not about what you gain. It is about what you become. The weak measure progress in material terms, in visible outcomes, in external validation. But the strong measure it in transformation, in the quiet internal shifts that no one else can see. Growth is not about reaching a destination. It is about becoming someone who can thrive at that destination. About forming the habits and discipline that make the new level of existence sustainable. The strong grow not for the reward, but for the process itself, for the person they become along the way. Pain is the currency of growth, and the weak are unwilling to pay the price. But the strong understand that pain is not the enemy, it is the proof. Each moment of discomfort, each step into the unknown, is a signal that you're expanding, that you're stepping into a version of yourself that did not exist before. Growth is not easy, and it is not meant to be. It is a struggle, a fight, a war against the self. To grow is to wage this war willingly, to embrace the pain as the price of progress. The path to growth is not marked by ease, but by resistance. The weak wait for the perfect conditions, for the stars to align, for the journey to feel right. But the strong know that growth is messy, that it is painful, that it demands more of you than you think you can give. And yet they give it anyway, not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. Growth is not a choice, it is a demand, and the strong answer that demand with discipline, with courage, with unrelenting effort. Balance is not found in the soft middle. It is carved from the jagged edges of extremes. The weak cling to moderation, believing it will save them. But moderation is the death of progress. Balance is earned in the fire of intensity and pushing yourself to the brink, breaking and then rebuilding. Self-discipline is not about avoiding failure. It's about leaning into it, about chasing the edge until it crumbles beneath you. It's in the collapse that new strength is forged. To stop at the middle is to stop growing. The weak stall, the strong surge forward.